Hey guys, how we doing? Welcome back to another video on this fantastic Monday morning. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I actually think that Monday is the best day of the week. I know a lot of people prefer Fridays, and I can understand why. You know, a long week of work, etc., you get to the end and you want to be able to relax. And I sometimes do feel the same way, right? You've had a hectic week and you're looking forward to the weekend just to be able to calm down and relax. But it's when you get to start something new and fresh. I absolutely love that feeling. Monday morning, getting up, the whole week ahead of you to do something exciting and special. I mean, some of you guys know that as a hobby, I do car racing. And it's the same with racing, right? Most of the outcomes of the race are actually predefined almost in the first couple of laps at the start, when people get a chance to get off the start line as fast as possible and make, you know, their position for the rest of the race. And I feel the same about life in general, about work. And maybe it's because I have a job I love and really enjoy doing what I do. So let me know. Do you prefer Fridays? Do you prefer Mondays or any other day of the weekend? And let me know why. In the video on Friday, we talked about the evolution of core banking products from the old traditional product-centric ones to the more modern cloud-native customer-centric ones. And I promised that I would share with you a 2x2, a quadrant that I've got to help to take that discussion for most banks that are on a transformational journey towards a new platform to make some decisions. I really do believe that to be successful in a core transformational journey for any bank, which, let's be honest, like I've said before, this is almost like open heart surgery for any bank replacing their core. You need to do a right to left engagement or project. You need to start by defining where your endpoints are going to be and then defining how you're going to get there. And there's an awful lot of questions and consideration points that you have to go through to both define the endpoint but also the most appropriate journey to get to that endpoint. I see an awful lot of banks, in fact I see an awful lot of people defining a target state or an endpoint, but then forgetting that actually the journey there is just as important. So defining an end goal without actually having a well-defined roadmap for how to get there is just as dangerous as going off on a journey without knowing where you're going to. So I've got and I don't know if this is going to work, but we'll try, right? And I'll put this in the comments at the bottom, but this is the quadrant, the 2x2 that I use to take this discussion with customers around doing a core transformation. The end result should have you positioned somewhere in this quadrant. The two lower ones you've got here, legacy anchored, which is in a lot of engagements you find that you end up anchoring back to the existing legacy. You don't replace all of it. You might do a strangler pattern or a hollow out pattern, but you end up with certain capabilities left in the legacy system that you will anchor back to. On the other side of that scale, you've got legacy replace, which is when you do a complete rip and replace. At the end of the day, you take out your complete legacy and you replace it with something new. On the vertical, what you have is at the bottom here, you have custom development. A lot of banks still are focused on the notion of developing their own core banking platform with a view that maybe the ISV-based solutions aren't going to deliver on the capabilities that they would like. In my mind, very often, the core banking platform is not a competitive advantage. It's the business capabilities that are put on top of that, particularly with the more modern cloud-native core banking platforms like we discussed last week, which are really reduced down to just a system of records where you can integrate your capabilities on top of that. And then at the top here, you've got ISV-based solutions, right? This is when you take a package rather than developing something yourself. And if you can see that you end up having to position yourself somewhere in this quadrant as to what's going to be your end state. You might want to say that you're going to leave certain capabilities behind that you're going to anchor to, but you're going to develop the rest or deliver the rest using ISV-based solutions. And the truth is that you never end up in an extreme in one of these corners. You end up with a mix of capabilities, but you have to put yourself somewhere in this. The last one is actually what I would put right in the middle here. And that's when you take a view of starting without a core. Now this could either be as a neobank, but also an awful lot of existing banks are standing up new digital challenger banks on the side. A good example here in the Nordics is SEB very recently launched SEBX, looking at new market domain for themselves and standing up a completely new challenger bank. So, important part, define where you want to be in this quadrant as an end state. And then once you've done that, we can start defining the journey to get there. There's a lot of questions here or considerations that will go in at a later date. But that's a starting point. Want to know more? Let me know. Love to talk about this, but enjoy your breakfast coffee and have a fantastic week. We're at the start. By the end of the week, you're going to look back and say, wow, what a week. Talk to you later.